allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Green. No.
Got nothing.
Had you touched it?
No.
Some we used to have where it would work, but it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, it should be. Okay. Caroline, for the record, would you do the roll call so we can establish a quorum, please? Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Great, thank you. With the minutes from the last meeting, April 15th to review. Just some very minor editing under 26-10, mid paragraph. There was a discussion among the board members whether the door fit the style of the building, being that it is in the village core. And let's add to that, capitalize village core as a zoning district and historic overlay district. Any other comments?
Me.
Make a motion that we approve the session's minutes with the revisions stated.
Second.
Thank you, Craig and Merle. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Report to the village board. Relatively short meeting last month, so the report was short. I do want to add for 25-05, where we amended the previous approval to include the metal fencing on the retaining wall. There has been a somewhat of an ongoing dispute with the adjacent property owner about the property line. So Jim has told them they need to figure it out with a survey or whatever means. And there was something in a deed that showed an access easement or something. So maybe that's an interpretation of what that means. So anyway, nothing before us, but I just thought.
We granted the approval with the condition that it met the.
Yeah, so that's. And I remember last summer when we reviewed it, was a little uncertain about the property line, so we just phrased it that way. Okay, so. Okay, first item on the agenda, and I apologize, the agenda I mailed to you, I had not updated that description under old business, so I'll read what the correct agenda says. 26-10 for 110 West Main Street, Great Lakes Realty for WCB Properties. Applicant requested site plan review to replace the exterior side patio door with a metal door. Project is in the village core, in the historic overlay district, as well as the National Register district. The application, this is the new part. The application was reviewed at the April meeting, and the board determined the installed door is not consistent with the architectural style of the building. But the existing door can remain for a period of time until an alternative door is approved. So we did have a public hearing. We did complete seeker, and we asked for alternative solutions to be submitted. And we have received some photos, and I met with the owner, Dr. Goddard, who's here this evening. And we met on a rainy morning and looked at the door from inside mainly. But he explained a little bit more about the situation, and as what he has given all of us was like a Photoshop rendition of first back up. The image we saw at the last board meeting is with the door without any trim molding. And he felt that with the trim molding, it would not only improve the appearance, but look like it fit better just overall. So he was preparing two different styles of molding. One that's more ornate that you can see, and one that's simpler in design. And the door was pre-ordered as a dark charcoal kind of color. And the photocopies don't totally accurate display the colors of the structure, but it gives you the idea. And so the one photo is with the more ornate molding in the brown trim to best match the front of the structure browns. The second one, and the second photo with that, the color is way off. That's not the one that looks like this. It's very kind of light reddish saddle brown. That's not the same as what's pictured on the first one, closely matching the front of this building. The other is a simpler molding, but still a little bit ornate, and in dark color to try to match the door and all the black wrought iron type materials on the patio, the chairs, the tables, the lanterns. So it's sort of like matching the black furniture and ornamental materials on the side with the door, or trying to match the front more ornate structure. So with that introduction to our board, I'd like you to elaborate from your perspective or offer they weren't at our little meeting, so maybe just offer your viewpoint, please.
Well, thank you, Janet. Basically what I present there is really two options. The door truly, when you really look at it, it's in natural form, and you put those moldings on. I think it does fit the whole structure of the building. And I apologize for not having the opportunity to come in and board this to sort of ask for approval before we did it, because we had to do this emergency in the middle of winter, and that's why we kind of left the molding out. But with the molding, the two options that I give, the first one, it sort of pulls in, as Janet said, with the front of the building. The only thing is, in picture, we can go around, but if you're actually looking at the building, that front and the side of the building as it currently is doesn't truly match. And I thought in keeping with the structure within the building, the second option is one that really matched the window side on that side. It also matched with the patio, blends in a little bit better. So I wanted to at least have these options looked into. And we really, we took some time to search this, even though this happened in the middle of winter, but the door structure does match the door on the front. and it matches some of the stuff we have inside as well as the patio. So I'd like you guys to kind of see that and offer a different perspective and maybe see if we can come with a different conclusion if possible.
So the image that shows the front door and the side door, what he's saying is with the computer, he manipulated the image so you can see both doors. Whereas in reality, when you're standing across the street, you don't necessarily see that. So you typically see the side of the building coming up Main Street or from the back. Or you see the front of the building. And the front building, the front of the building, we talked about this last month, is very vertical in design. The second and third floor windows are narrow, tall windows. And the first floor, the door itself, but is extended with a very vertical line of sight. But the trim on the door and the trim beneath the windows is a horizontal raised panel, and above that. So that's what, I believe Jim Corbin was mentioning some last month, that, the door that we're looking at as the installed new door doesn't have that same horizontal and, raised panel look or the verticalness of the windows. But as Mike Campbell said last month, on behalf of the application, the preference is not to have a door with windows on that side. Or I guess energy and safety going in and out, whatever. So to go back to the board's discussion, we felt the door did not fit. And this is what we had, and most of us had probably walked past and seen it. And we asked for alternative styles. We don't have an alternative style, but we have it finished with a argument for keeping the door with a choice of molding and color, with the request to keep the door as installed, and, asking, do we feel it now is more appropriate or appropriate enough, or yes, it's a great fit, whatever. And I've walked by a number of times and looked, went around the back of the building, and personally, I do feel that the molding added in the imagery does make a vast difference.
It's the same color as the door.
Well, there's molding that's brownish that tries to match the front of the building, that kind of chocolatey brown. And then there's the simpler, darker molding and door. But the door is currently, it came with a finish that's a dark, it's like a dark gray.
Selected to match the furnitures in the patio and the lighting structures.
It's a very dark door. It's not black, but it's
Close to it.
it's very dark.
It looked green before, but I guess it was a different.
Those, the pictures.
The original door, please.
Yes.
The door, I'm not talking about the frame right now.
Right,
Door is what you talked about. You only had that last time.
right.
Wasn't here.
We had a picture of we had a picture of the door and a picture of what was there. So this is the door with no molding, which is the way it looks now.
That's the existing door.
That's the
Okay.
door,
This the
This
one.
is what it was.
Yeah.
And I guess that's, rotten.
Yeah.
I knew it was something that's
So the rotten door.
rotten.
So last time you were presented
This.
the door, but not any. molding
Right,
around.
right. And we just said, no, that doesn't work for us.
So was there a problem with the design of the door then at that? point?
Well, we thought there was.
With the light up top.
Well, we didn't even discuss the light.
I don't mean I mean the light in the.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just, I don't think we well, we did talk about the window, but the general consensus was the door that we're looking at did not fit the structure, meaning appropriate style. Whether it's only the window or the raised panel style, whatever, it wasn't a fit.
And now what we have is that it's the same door that we looked at a month ago,
Correct.
plus the trim.
Right, with the argument that adding the trim changes the aesthetics. And are we comfortable with that? And the question is, yes, or maybe, and if so, which molding, which trim, or no? I guess there's a few choices there. No, yes to the door, if so, which trim, color and style?
I like the trim that's the same color as the door.
So there's the trim
But there's two styles of
on the
trim.
window,
Yes, there are two styles.
on the side of the new door.
The side of the new door, it's a little bit, darker brown. You can see it's not that well displayed, but if you have that picture there, you can see on top it's.
Is it-
darker brown.
Is a darker brown that kind of matches the front, or is it?
It just matches that side. It
Yeah.
really doesn't match with the front.
This is the other side.
Oh, yeah.
really,
Not color, I'm just-
it matches with, if you
Just get
anything,
color.
a higher level. And that's why at the level of the patio, if you put that itself, I think it's just put more, focus on the door instead of being in the patio or enjoying the buildings. That was my kind of thought process.
I thought I took a picture of the upper windows the other day when I went by, but I didn't. So I think what you're saying, the darker door with a simpler trim matches the window on the side, which to you makes a whole cohesive side, which is typically what you see. Whereas if you're on the patio or walking up the street and looking only at that side, because that's all you can see,
Right.
you're going to see the door with the fancier trim and say, huh, there's a door. And then who knows where you might go with that thought. I think that's what you're saying, right? Okay.
I like the more plain trim.
This one.
Exactly.
And that's the
No.
one he's saying matches the window on that side.
I would agree with that because all the other trim on the other doors and everything are plain.
Mm-hmm.
Can the front, across the front. It has that arch over it. My
Like-
only negative is that light in the door,
The window.
the window in the door.
And the thought is what?
If it was rectangular,
Mm-hmm.
to look more like, a transom type of
Mhm.
window, I think would match better to the front of the building. That's very
Yeah.
square on the front of the building.
Yeah.
That's the only,
Are those little windows above on the front? Or is it just a recessed space? Above the-
Just recess.
Yeah.
but the overall structure there is very rectangular.
You're right. You're
There's
right.
nothing with that arched
You're right.
feature.
I may suggest this too, I mean, just from a visual standpoint, because the front of the building, it's much higher than that side that
Oh,
we're
yeah.
looking at. And that's what makes a huge difference too. Because I mean, we did consider it a square transom. It didn't match that side. I think that was the simplest one we found that would match it, but I mean, I do see your point. But
I don't think
that
anything,
front is
because of
pretty
the
high.
change in elevation on either side. It's just that it's the only place in on the building that has that feature on it. Is there any other?
You mean a rounded
arch-
window?
That arched feature on it. Is there any other place on the building that has that? I don't remember. My wife and I walked by the other day and
I think that the door on the side again of the front that goes up the stairs, it looks almost like it, but again, you're in the same case scenario where the front doesn't really compare with that side. That's the only reason why I thought that would be okay, but
I think your website has a nice picture of the front of the building.
we do, but it has the IVs, the vines, because that one was done in
Yeah.
summertime, and I think that covers a lot of the architecture. So you may not be getting a full view of it.
I think all the windows on the second floor are also very square.
Yeah, the ivy's covering it.
Yeah.
I thought there was-
Ivy on that building.
You get square there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Even the second floor on the front of the building. I mean, that's the only thing I see that I would have any objection to, but I think it's such a minor point. I don't know what everybody else thinks about it.
So if I might, what bothers me is what I'm starting to see is creep. That's an absolutely beautiful, iconic building for the village. It always has been. It's a tourist spot for the folks that come in from Canada, at Sailor Marina. But a few years ago, we had an arch to walk in that secret garden-esque patio. And unfortunately, it fell down. And it wasn't replaced. It was just, I don't know that that's costly and whatever the reason, I don't know, but we've got planters up on things now. So it's less secret entrance to a secret garden type of, aesthetic. But when you're in that, when the arch was there and it's in full bloom with the ivy on the building, it's absolutely stunning. And then we had that rustic door that didn't really match the building either, but it matched that ambiance of that garden, like you're in a like England farm garden or something. That's how I saw that. And we don't have an arch now. We're getting a modern door, and I just feel like that detracts from that ambiance. And then if a window goes out, what is just not? We don't plan on the what ifs. We just discuss what's in front of us. But that's my only fear, is where we're going with this iconic landmark building. That's all.
And I think that door on that side becomes a major feature because for two reasons. It's entry next to for all the wait staff coming in and out. It's also next to the bar, which is where a lot of people.
But it's always open during, I think, it's because it's always open
During
during
summer.
service. Which is another way, what's it look like when it's open, what's that? That's,
The inside is the same color, right?
It is.
Yeah, does it open outside, I assume?
It does. Yeah. It's the same color.
As you face the door from the outside, is the hinge on the left or the right.
Left.
It's on the left side. Yes.
So it
goes
opens
against
towards
the
the
door.
bar. It's not a hindrance for your bar patrons, is it?
Not at all.
Enough room there.
I prefer them in there. When I think about the building and what's there. You're gonna have patrons with the tables to the right of that door. That way the door doesn't swing into them.
In the picture we had showing the door currently, there's a little lamp above that.
Yes.
Is that like a LED downward
It's
or is it?
it's almost like a lantern appearance that's right on top of that door. So yes, it's a down.
Because I was looking at the image, the darker colored one, which I think is what Dick likes, the simpler
The simpler in the color.
yeah.
simpler molding.
Right.
That looks like it has an ornate lantern above it.
Yeah, it is a kind of a lantern.
But that's in this picture. That doesn't really exist, does it?
It does.
Oh, because,
It's in this picture.
oh, no, that's on a post.
You're not talking about the light, you're talking
No.
about the little thing.
Talk about- Yeah, the one that sits here,
Yeah,
Now, maybe the one I'm seeing in this picture just doesn't have it.
and he has it on both of them.
Oh, this,
Yeah, so there.
but this,
This
is
probably.
that just like
just-
a schematic?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, design, yeah.
Well,
But the little light is.
But this is nicer than that.
We could probably change it to that.
Oh, you catch my drift?
Definitely can.
The power of the chair.
I'm sorry.
Which one do you think is?
Well, it's just that this is just like a striking contemporary, like I didn't
No,
know.
I wasn't looking at, because after, once the.
I know, but this,
It shows here.
but that doesn't really exist. That's what I asked him.
Right, it does.
So that's, I said, but could it exist instead of this? You know?
Oh, and
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I mean, that makes-
light down.
that little light there on just below the trim light, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Right,
And you said it's downward facing.
but that doesn't, that's not really there.
I understand that.
Okay.
But there's wiring there. for
but
it.
you have a lantern lamp above it.
We have one above the door, it's just on that particular picture, it's showing it on the mold.
Oh,
We want that, if we would want that light on the molding itself.
where's the, so it's one of these bigger lanterns above the door?
Right now, it's just, I can't really describe it. It's a downward lantern, almost what's on the door, but it's above the molding. But this one is showing it as on the molding. The one you like is showing it on the molding.
This is enhanced, this.
No, this is there. That's
That
a
is there.
separate, that's, yeah, this one was just taking, that picture here is taking closer.
Yeah,
This is a more further, that's a light post, that's it.
But I'm still kind of.
oh, I'm sorry,
One I
yes.
think he
gotcha.
said
That's a
exists.
Post out here,
Yeah, that's what.
yeah.
And it's like, that's not very attractive. We're talking about,
I take that back, Jen. I was like.
But-
It was above the door.
What does, that doesn't?
that doesn't exist. That was just part of the imagery, I guess. But I was saying, well, that was
It's like the same spot.
right. So. And I'm sorry if I don't understand, but you know,
That's why I'm here.
that little light that I said that exists and it's not as attractive as your ornamental one. But then you said there is a lantern above the door.
Above the door.
Is that,
That right there, that image is circling, there's a low light, it's smaller, there's a lamp post. That's the lantern that's right on the side of the door, if you look at the bigger pictures, but this is not close to the door.
right?
It's almost 2 feet away.
So when that lantern is attached, this isn't there or used, or is it a,
It's a small little light that just shine on the door, so really not
I
a,
see. I
not
guess
a huge light to disturb anything.
Well, not sure I get the whole lamp idea, but that's all right.
The other lantern that shows up in one of the others is on this post here, that's to the right of the door.
It's just a standalone lantern, I think.
Yeah,
To the right of the door. And unfortunately,
Right.
it shows up in one of the pictures like it's right on the.
Yeah.
Because of the.
Right.
yeah,
Short.
that's on a post.
Yeah,
Right,
If you guys look at this picture, maybe I'll show you the light a little bit more. This is just lighting we have all throughout the patio and it has the same kind of look.
right.
Those are, I mean, I know it shows like it's in relation to the door, but really not
Right.
have
Yeah.
anything to do with the door at all. Other than the colors kind of trying to match them.
Well, where do we stand on all these variations? We've been expressing grief, and I understand that, and I think that's an important thing for us to think about. Dick raised the question about the rounded small window, questioning whether that was a significant detraction or not. I heard a preference for the darker trim and simpler trim. Did I hear any preference for the more ornate trim?
Support the simpler as well.
This one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
felt that little light thing there.
You like the little light?
No, I don't.
Oh, without. the-
Anyone else?
And I know those doors are not inexpensive. No, they like to get their piece of flesh, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Um,
No, it's an insulated door. I believe. Yes.
It's more for the resin,
okay.
type of door. It's made for that, so you don't get the, rot, and it still give you a wood appearance.
I couldn't tell what the material was when I walked by the other day.
That's actually a good thing.
No, that is a good thing. If I'd walked into the
Yeah.
patio and knocked on it, I wouldn't.
Right,
but
right.
Also, there may be a weight. How much it weighs with your servers going in and out all the time.
I'm sorry.
Well, a problem with weight of the door, if you have inclement weather and or colder weather, like we're gonna get in the next couple of nights, and your servers have to go through it all the time, that's.
Well, they had to go through the old one, which was.
Yeah, this is.
But why
Even
keep it being difficult?
I mean, the thing is, when we really serving in the patio, that door is not really opening and closing.
Yeah, you have a screen door in there or something.
That door right now doesn't have a screen on it. But, you know, they just did it that way, so
Yeah.
for that piece that you're talking about, people are not walking in and things are hitting them in the back or.
And he said when,
It's a lot easier.
when it's open, they're usually not serving in the inside area. So
Right.
they're not concerned about. Well, Craig, how's your creep thought?
I can't in good faith support it, which is my opinion.
What if that particular feature, if you're able to change it easily, was the color of the door, so it looked solid, didn't look like it had a.
So there's no, you could take the window, the door light out, and it's completely, because I've seen the doors like that. We just bought one for the door at the marina. It's tough for me, and it's emotional, and not only that it's aesthetic, for the aesthetic value of that beautiful building, to see it going modernized, but looking modernized. And even if you took a window light out and put that same exact door without that window light, because they make them, it's a modern door, and it's tough.
To see a 12-panel door,
It was,
light panel. I think that's what the front is, isn't it? Isn't
It's
that-
a light,
Well,
panel, just the same, but it's glass.
I mean, I don't. I don't know. I'm not a majority. I'm just a.
No,
No.
but your opinion counts.
That's all. I'm just sharing my opinion.
Can I just share a little bit with you too, because I think I'm as passionate about the building, and I appreciate you feel that way about it, because that's the way I feel too. You mentioned that arch falling, not only safety, I mean, we looked at all of that too, and replacing it. There's a certain skill set you have to have for that, and material wise and labor to do that, and all of that comes into consideration. This was, I mean, if we're talking about history of the building, this was something that was added on, and I looked at that and said, you know, is it can I replace this? Can I make it look just as, maybe not exactly the same, obviously, but we put those urns on there. It's something that's safer for people who are coming in and out. Still didn't take anything much away from the building. And I'm not taking anything from, away from what you said and what you feel, because I personally felt the same way too. But I'm looking at options, because this building, I love the building. I mean, I've been coming to that place for 23 years. I mean, I didn't just buy it just for the sake of it. I bought it because I love what the building represents. So I appreciate the fact that you share that same sentiment. But, sometimes we have to deal with the time and what we have. I just didn't have the skill set. I mean, before we went through that, we tried to call many people to come and replace that. They would have to tear those columns down, go down, to put foundation to be able to put an arch like that, because that arch was there. In today's world, we probably would not do that without any iron support or anything like that. There was no metal support on that. It was just the mere bricks. I mean, it worked. It was beautiful, no doubt. But replacing it would have been an issue, and finding the right skill set to do it. So that was kind of a, substitute for that. But I just wanted to share that with you, not taking anything away, but I do appreciate what you feel about it. But
Thank you. I think we all share what your feelings. Craig. My problem was I couldn't figure out what we would put there instead.
I know what I would do, and I'm not suggesting that you do this. If I might opine on what, and maybe I could be way off, thinking silence me, take me off the board. If it was me, and I had this building, because I'm a little bit of a purist, and it's not about the history of that building, because that door was added on too. We discussed that last month as well. That was an add-on probably by Andy, because it was, the way it was cut out, or something somebody figured out that's definitely probably not an original door. It's just about preserving the uniqueness of that garden. And that's where my opinion comes from. But if it was me, I would literally buy or pay somebody to make that other door, because it fit with what you're used to seeing. And maybe that's the problem, is what you're used to seeing, right? But and just make another door.
Like the one that was.
Yeah.
the only other thing too, again, I thought of all of that, but you have a building with, the energy level to get the kind of heating we have, what we have today, to get a door like that will never carry that R factor that we're looking for. From a safety standpoint, you try to get something of that caliber again, the weight of that door, just moving it in and out, that's probably one of the reasons why it always stays open. We don't, even from a safety standpoint, that wasn't the right door for that place, couldn't lock it properly, just had a latch on there. There's a lot that comes with it, and even trying to replace this without having major construction done to the place, those bricks that are there, once you start disturbing that, it makes a lot more. And again, I see what you're saying, and I wish that I could have done that too, but it's just.
So I see as a board, if we adjust I mean no disrespect by saying any of these comments at all, but if we make our opinions or judgments, if you will, on convenience of a applicant, where does that go? Well, I did, and I mean no disrespect, but I didn't do this because I couldn't or whatever. But then the next thing you know, you've got that creep or the drift. That's my only concern, and I'll stop with that.
Yeah.
Can I share one other concern, and I'll stop too?
No, it's okay.
If you guys don't mind,
No, it's your project.
It's all of what you said, but we also have a different level of safety that we have to take into consideration too when we try to do that. It's a matter, not only cost is an issue, even if we did put that aside, we gotta look at the patrons that are coming into that building in and out. We want something that is safe for them, that are not gonna give problem. And if somebody is sitting there enjoying their meal inside, and the goal is to try to keep this open in the community all year round. I don't know if you guys ever visited that place in the winter time, that draft, that's that door. You know, there's nothing you can do to seal it other than putting something to literally block the door. So that's what we've been doing over the years, and this is something that I've inherited even from the previous owner. Every winter, having to put some foams and just on there. Aesthetically, I don't think it looks nice. It doesn't look nice for the people all coming in there. So, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, just gonna leave it there. But I know you guys have a decision to make. I don't want that to cloud it in any way. But that's kind of what we looked at.
And there's one of the issues that we're not in control of interior.
Right.
That's not our wherewithal. Ours is only on the exterior. But I understand, because I've been in there in the wintertime to have a meal. And you lose seating space because of that door. I like up where the entry is to the kitchen. But yeah, I mean, that's another issue, even though we're only deemed to take care of the exterior appearances.
Right.
Business owner has to worry about how does the exterior affect the interior, and I think that's one of his issues right here on the door.
But we don't vote on that.
I understand that, and that's what I'm saying. We're not,
And I'm not saying it needs to be wood if it was me. I mean, I would, I know I need your consent, I would make that same thing again, but it could be. I don't know.
Well, you'd have to come up with something with an R factor that
Right.
you need, and
When you started your explanation, I was reminded how last month, I think you and I were saying we preferred, when Mike Kimball was here, when we were talking about the door at Madison Barracks that was put in without approval. And then we were faced with this same dilemma, and they had safety concerns with break-ins and that sort of thing. They ended up reconditioning the old door. And then I think we're just like, yeah, Mike, can you just make a new door that looks like that? And it's like, well, no, and then you offered some explanations. But after the meeting, I gave a lot of thought to this, and I walked around, and in the alley behind the carriage house built next door, which was for Andy's house, has the same door over the carriage house with the hinges. And on the side of that, there's another door. So my point of this is I think there were 3 doors in that little block area, at least, that were of that simplistic vertical wood with vintage hinge type thing. And we did talk about that side patio door was not original, but that had become what we recognized as the style. And certainly Andy liked that because he built his carriage house with that upper door with the hinges, and I believe a pedestrian door. And then I think there might be one on the property next door, the Sarah Beth house that he owned. I do like the simplistic style that was there.
so
And I
you're
don't-
not so much concerned about materials. You're
Right,
more concerned about the style.
the style, yeah, and I totally understand. I've been in that building when it was winter, when Andy was doing some holiday meals, and it is chilly. That's one door out of the whole building. I still think it's important to maximize or minimize your draftiness. But I think to others, this can't possibly be the only structure in a climate zone like this that wants to keep a design in keeping with a structure. Like, I don't know in fact, after our meeting last month, I spent way too long scrolling looking for doors, like trying to get in touch with the vertical windows of the building and the horizontal panels. There are thousands of doors out there from Pinterest to Lowe's, but I didn't see the door that I could then say, hey, Mike Campbell, try send this. And I did, I think I asked you, could you talk to your architect? And I think it was Jason Berto, see what he would say to this. And I think you did contact him. I don't know what he said, but
I mean, it's the same kind of thing, you're looking for efficiency, factor, if you're looking for safety and appeal, and you can duplicate that wooden door in terms of having somebody make a wooden door like that. Would you ever be able to get it to seal, to get the R factor you're looking for? Probably not. I get it. I mean, I I have to look at both ends of it. And for me, safety is extremely important, as well as the look of the building. And we didn't choose that door lightly just to put something together just like that. We try to come with something that would appeal to both ends. And I think that in my view did. And I know with the molding, it just didn't have that appearance that it could have, because with the molding, it does make it fit with the building and gives you that safety we were looking for and efficiency, and making us able to, if we use this building all year round, we can have people sitting in there to feel comfortable. So that's kind of what we look
yeah. And I think this board's trying very hard to be sensitive to needs of business owners, trying to make our community more of a year-round community. So I'm hearing you loud and clear on that, right? I think that's important, but so these are all difficult pros and cons.
Your intention is to be open longer too.
Yeah. I mean, that's our goal. In today's society, we struggle with staff, but I mean, a lot of people just don't have this.
Well, I hear some support for keeping the door with a selection of molding and color. How we want to move this. But I don't.
I move that we approve this door with the molding the same color as the door and the style of molding that Dick was talking about.
The simpler style molding in the darker color,
Right. And this doesn't have to be there.
the little doodad light.
So there's motion.
What doesn't have to be there, girl?
The little.
The stylized light I was making a big deal out of.
That can't.
Yep, I don't.
I made a motion.
I understand
So
that.
is somebody gonna second it? So we can then discuss it, or are we just gonna ignore it?
I'll second it so we can discuss it. I think the light go for a nighttime safety issue needs to be there.
Well, the light is there above the door.
Above the door.
Thing, except for the light.
Just
No,
off the.
So that's the one that's built into that AI generated.
the one on,
Just off the molding there.
that's on the trim,
Right, so what other light is there?
This one, it's
This one's
above the door.
just above the door. There's a little light just above the door.
No one that is in this-
This picture,
Yeah, there it is. You have to look at that.
Oh, okay,
It's above the trim.
just above the figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I understand it.
Only took me a half an hour to figure
See the light now.
it out.
I thought he just moved this down because the wiring was there.
Okay, so we're discussing the simpler trim, the darker door with the existing light. Any other discussion?
Was that door available without the glass insert? Is it solid?
Well, Dick, you seconded the approval of that door.
Just so we could discuss
We can
it.
discuss it. Been
For no
discussing it
other
all
reason,
night.
for no other reason than, otherwise we can't discuss it anymore. We're done.
Well, I could call for the question. We can call for the question.
If there was, yeah, but if there was no second, you couldn't do that.
Right, but I can do it now.
That's the only reason I did that, was so we could continue to discuss. Not that I'm necessarily in favor of this one the way it is.
Is there time for public comment?
You know, yes, we did have a hearing, but our agenda was, I made an error on the agenda, so it said we would have one, so we're not, but so in lieu of that error, yeah, give us a comment.
I certainly respect, I know all you volunteer your time to be here, and I think everybody has the best interest in mind of the village. But I think there's a very thin line between government overreach and trying to do the best thing for the village. Dr. Goddard paid a lot of money for that restaurant. He runs a good ship there. We all go there. We all enjoy eating their food. It's a nice atmosphere. The servers are nice. It's just a nice place to go. I think that, you know, he's not asking to paint the building pink. He's asking to replace a side door. I think he's being more than willing to cooperate with this. But I think just we need to keep in mind that there is that line between governmental overreach and allowing a private citizen to do what he wants with something they paid a lot of money.
Just so Carolyn has on the record, your name and where you live.
Well, next on the agenda. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Chris. And as a response to that, I know what you're saying and I appreciate the intent and content. But these kind of details are in the law. So it is nitpicking, but architectural detail of historic structures in the National Register District, that's totally on the table, up for discussion. Yeah, and that's why I wanted you to know.
Yeah, we struggle with this all the time.
But we have,
I know.
and I've been on this board for 9 or 10 years. We have taken into consideration, I don't know, convenience to the owner is the right term, but we take it into consideration, cost, etc.
We try to be reasonable. And
So I'm hoping that doesn't go in our minutes.
what doesn't?
What doesn't?
Craig's commented that we don't take convenience of the owner into consideration.
I don't think he said we shouldn't. I think that was part of the commentary, but our minutes don't typically rewrite everything that's said. It's on a video, so we can replay it, but
I'll disagree with that too, because PJ called me in a comment.
from the minutes?
Yes,
Oh,
that Merle thought.
Oh.
That was in the minutes.
okay. All right, so. You ready to take a vote? All right, so we have a motion to approve the door as installed with the simpler molding, with the existing light, with the dark color paint. All in favor?
This is a toughie.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time with it too. I have a tough time with it too, but I just taking into consideration some of Chris's comments. And I think it's important that we do that. You know, I'm sick and tired of hearing people stop at my house and ask me, how did we ever approve those houses down there?
Yeah.
And you've probably had it too. I mean, I get that at least once a week from somebody.
And when I get those, I usually say you should come to the meetings. Find out why and how. Not like the meetings are
Well,
not.
that's not responsive.
No, but it's,
Well,
they're gonna complain. They need to be
Well,
here.
it works two ways here.
Yes.
I mean, we're all struggling because of, we want to be helpful to our business community. I get that criticism frequently. And then we hear the criticism that you're expressing and other things. So, you know, we have a section of our community that wants us to be more consistent, more strictly adhering to these. And those that say, come on, people, get with it. This is no longer that important.
I'm gonna vote yes to the point that I don't like it 100%, but it at least has some colonial feel to the style of the door, even though it's not appropriate for the style of the building.
An acceptable effort of,
Right.
Should we reflect that in the minutes?
well, let's get through this and then we'll figure out what we're going to say.
I'll vote yes. But I
Craig?
think we should have in the minutes.
Mike?
It's a tough one for me, but I think I lean towards yes, or I'll go with yes. Then I've thought of it many times. I've walked by it many times. I think the darker features can blend in. No, it's not perfect. But given that it's on the side of a building, not the front, and not everything matches perfectly. That's a tough decision for me. It's 50-50, but I will lean towards that simpler black molding design.
So we have a yes and a yes and a no and a yes. And we'll make it a full house and it'll be a no. 3-2. So you have your approval. And I personally express the same sentiment that I want your business to be open year round. I think what you've done with the Photoshop has made a tremendous improvement. And assuming you proceed with as you planned, I think I'll readily adapt to it and think it looks nice. But I do struggle with similarly that it is a contemporary door, and you probably have noticed the door at Union Hotel that's on the front door recently. And right after our meeting, I think I had seen it right before the meeting. Yeah, I had, because I brought it up, but people were saying that can't possibly be the door, right? And the state got a call and it's like, no, that's a temporary door. Their door was a similar, I mean, a different design than what you had, but it's being created or restored to fit. And I believe there could be a solution, but I want your door there. You've made an effort and you've got your approval, but I think it's important for our community to know also that these are details that this board struggles with and are very real.
I think Craig's comment should be regarding historical structures and trying to preserve. And this is probably one of the more well-known buildings in the entire community.
Oh, and beyond in the North Country.
Right, in the North Country.
And ambiance is part of that. And you've done a nice job maintaining what was created years ago. Not to say you can't change it, but you know.
I go back to when and this was a few years ago, when we talked about the enclosure of the patio at Goodfellows. That was a long, hard discussion because now we're putting overhead doors, enclosing the patio with overhead doors, so to speak, so they can be open in the summer. And what do we do when we're closed in the winter time? And what does it do to the look of that building? And we discussed, I remember we discussed about what is the exterior, the physical building with the windows and doors that exist inside, right on that patio. That was a long discussion.
Yeah.
we had on that.
Well, and we took a big leap in approving your design for the patio, and that, I don't think there was much dissent on that.
No.
We analyzed, but you had a nice product there.
We still have the project in place. We just, again.
Yeah.
Love to see that happen.
Times,
We make it happen, because
Right.
that should have been almost completed, but.
I know, but I'm just telling you,
No, it's a struggle.
I bring that up to make a point that we're not adverse to change. And that would be a very significant change, but the board felt it was designed appropriately and would be an asset to the community, and that was that. So anyway, so yes, thanks for your patience with us. Okay. Well, Brian, I think you're missing that concert at school tonight. Take your granddaughter out for Tin Pan meal. Okay, new business, 2618, Chris Bradley, 101 Bayview Place, site plan review to construct a dock. It's in the Madison Barracks Bayview PDD. It's in the National Register District and the Historic Overlay District, and we do have a public hearing scheduled. We have a lot of info in the application, very nicely prepared. The general zoning application, materials for what's known as the joint application, which provides information required for Office of Government Services of New York State, Department of State, in other words, I guess DEC and Army Corps of Engineers, this long form seeker, waterfront assessment form, and we haven't had to deal with this very much recently. It's in the communities of local waterfront revitalization plan community. We have a vessel regulation zone. We have waterfront regulations. And so that triggers another layer of review. So this form deals with that. Photos of the site. And then as of today, correspondence from DEC and New York State. Office of Government Service. And then photos of ducks. So how about you tell us what we need to know? Besides what's in the paperwork.
Well, as you said, all the necessary paperwork for permitting has been done for the dock. And, we do have, New York State DEC, non-jurisdictional, a letter typical for this type of dock.
Can you explain, because there was some discussion just before we came in on why it's non-jurisdictional?
It's in DEC's law that if a steel pile dock or an open pile dock is constructed with pilings that are less than 12 inches diameter, they do not have jurisdiction over that
That's what I thought you said,
project.
but we had somebody questioning that. Merle, did you hear his answer?
Yeah,
Less than 12-inch diameter pilings.
really, don't have to be approved.
Yeah, DEC is non-jurisdictional on a dock that is less than 12 inches of piling, and it's got, there's other criteria. It's got to be less than 8 feet wide
Yes,
and open steel pilings. Crib docks are jurisdictional. Any dock with any structure on the water with a 12-inch piling or greater is jurisdictional. They have to control that or issue a permit for that.
do you put cement around
No
the
cement.
pilings? No cement.
No. No, I call out no concrete fill on purpose.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's
But the-
right in the application.
What about, US Army Corps of Engineers?
They're involved. And Department of State.
Okay,
So those two agencies involved in this. 4 agencies involved in the joint permit application. DEC, Office of General Services,
yeah,
Corps of Engineers, and Department of State. The
Okay.
Department of State's policies that are similar, very similar, they're the same as your local waterfront revitalization program. That your local waterfront revitalization program is a Department of State document and set of policies. So Department of State will comment on this and as will the Corps of Engineers.
And I asked for correspondence on that today, and that's why he sent these two today.
1 ounce,
Yeah, so approvals already, the other two are still under.
we put 1 ounce of cement, yeah. Oh, the natural high water mark. You would need approval from DEC. right?
Yes, so yes, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
There's no problem with, they don't want control over you driving the pilings into the bedrock wall.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
because
really
that's
is.
what that's gonna disturb.
How far down do they go, or do they just rest on?
That's different for every project, depending on the logistics of the site.
So you don't know yet, like,
Yes, I don't know that, I'm an engineer, but I'm not I'm not the contractor's engineer.
oh,
The
okay,
Contractor is going to be responsible for the lifelong,
yeah,
uh, action of this dock.
yeah,
You know, with us coming in and that.
Yeah.
So he's gonna build it to his expertise.
okay, good.
So you
He's got one of the
still,
best contractors in the area.
so you still need a letter from the Army Corps of Engineers?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we'll be getting a letter of approval, or a letter of permission from the Army Corps of Engineers, yes. And Department of State will, what they offer what's called general concurrence.
Oh.
If it concurs with all the policies in New York State and your local waterfront revitalization program, which, they'll coordinate with the village here, then they'll issue a general concurrence. And then, once they issue state concurrence, then the Army Federal Corps of Engineers can sign off on the project. How the process works.
Did I ask you, do you think they'll be looking for our consistency form, like a copy of that?
No, they have the federal consistency assessment form that's in that.
So the one that we fill out saying it's consistent with ours, they don't care?
No,
Okay,
typically not, no.
they don't care. Okay, so, and did you bring the site plan review form?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, we have the seeker form that was submitted. It's very thoroughly prepared. Just one item at or two items I've checked, and I'll give this to you. It is in the National Register District, and it is within 5 miles of the Seaway Trail. Other than that, it was very thoroughly completed. And
That's actually something that you can see for that portion of
that mapper or whatever, yeah. It's okay, it's absent on most. And on our part is part 2 and 3. And even though there'd be construction on the land and potential impact of geologic resources and surface water, it seems very reasonable to determine that there would be no significant adverse impact on the environment with this application. So I'd like to make that motion. We say there's no significant adverse impact.
I have a question on the application itself.
Okay.
It refers to tax map number 88.28-1-65.2. Are we talking about his shades 88.21-1-65-1? What plot is it?
It's not the one with the house, but it's the lot he acquired at the
Small
end.
lot, a
Yes,
Small lot that comes down from,
right. And if you notice
Okay.
in one of the documents, it says it's 0 Pike Street.
because they're,
Yeah.
so they darkened that one, which is the wrong lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have that conflict in the application.
Right, well, and I discussed this a little bit because the seeker form is filled out as if it's for the dock, which is the the project we're reviewing, which is on the other lot. But Chris owns both and his residence is at the one that's shaded and so
But we ought to have that corrected.
okay, so are you looking at, were you at the seeker form or the zoning form? Where you recited the,
This was the first page after the seeker form. Yes, in my pile, there's the end of the seeker form.
Those two separate ones.
okay, that's the map that came with the DEC. Yeah. The EAF mapper summary,
That is the EAF map.
right,
And I typically do that on the residential side on purpose.
Why? You're talking about the other lot.
Right. Well,
I mean, it's.
I mean, if somebody picks up on it later on, I'd rather have it right now. Than have somebody come back later on and say, oh, wait.
Well, it's specified. Isn't it?
It is specified on the front of the application.
How about we make a notation on the copy in the file that it's on the,
This one just needs to be changed.
okay, got it. Are you joining those ever, or are you gonna keep them as separate tax parcels?
I just asked that same question. a second ago.
It's advantageous to taxes perhaps, but I don't think it would make a difference.
I have no idea. Could go either way, I
Yeah,
think,
this part that you're talking about was once a village street.
or the stub. Anyway, so back to this. So I made a motion to determine no significant adverse impact on the environment. Do we have a second for that? Thank you, Craig. All in favor? Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, we took care of that. And I would like to open a public hearing. Anybody on Zoom? Any comment? Don't. Okay, with no comment, we'll close the hearing. Two things to really talk about here is the dock and then the eventual intention to add steps. But let's deal with the dock. There's a section of the law, waterfront structures, that says all waterfront structures must be reviewed by site plan review. And there are a number of conditions, two of which seem relevant here, especially relevant. That a dock cannot extend to within 15 feet of the vessel regulation zone. And it took me a little while today to find the map of that, and this is not within the vessel regulation zone. It ends just down the street from you. Like Merle's house is in it, maybe by Stone Mill.
Yes, it ends before you get to Camp Street.
Right, so anyway, it's not in there, so that's not anything we have to be concerned with, but I think it's notable that we did verify that. And the second thing, which you can help me figure out, is that there's a provision that probably be best to cite it, but the dock has to be set back 20 feet from your property line, your adjoining property owner line. So an imaginary line from the shoreline perpendicular out into the water. So if you take one property line, that's your residential house. The other would be Connie Barone's. So your dock needs to be 20 feet from that imaginary line. I thought I could determine from your drawing that it might say 15 feet. It's like PL, is that property line?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Department of State, regulator policy on that is 10 feet.
It's what,
10 feet.
10 feet?
well, the Second Harbor zoning law, waterfront management law says. Now, where that came from? Probably linked to something Department of State. I
I
don't.
have 193 feet to work with, so we can move it by.
I was gonna say, instead of getting into the details, I wanted to ask you, does that matter to Chris? And like you, because he's the next owner, it's
I
like,
put it at 15 to stay with, to comply with Department of State, so.
okay. Well, that was easy. Great. Okay, and then, because it is in the, coastal area and subject to these regulations, with our amended LWRP, there's a 5-page form that we have to fill out, looking at all these policies, saying it's consistent. So I did that today. And not that I'm, basically what I said is that the dock, is consistent with communities' coastal policies. And there are questions that I have to answer yes or no. And if any are yes, I have to provide an explanation. For example, will water-related recreation be provided? Well, hello, it's a dock, yes. So I just said that the dock and access steps will be reviewed by all involved agencies to determine that all coastal policies will be upheld and the proposed construction is consistent with Second Harbor's LWRP. So I wanted, for the record, you to know I've completed that to complement what the applicant completed, doing their due diligence of the same thing. The only other thing with that is, it, on the second page of the coastal assessment, it is in the National Register of Historic Places. So I checked yes on my copy. It's section C, coastal assessment. Item 2, letter I.
Is my.
Yeah. Coastal assessment, part C. 1, item 2, and there's like A through I, the last one is I. Historic will affect, be located in or adjacent to any of the following historic resource listed on the National or State Register. And yes, we are, yes. And is it will the proposed activity require any of the following? A waterfront site? Well, it is a waterfront site. And then the number 4, will the proposed activity occur within or affect an area covered by a state approved local waterfront? Yes.
Yes. I have both of those.
Okay, well, on my paper, it doesn't. Oh, yes, it is, but the main would be the, so, yeah, those were the ones that meant I had to fill out that second part of the form. So you don't, I'll just keep this and you can, if you feel you need to check off that historic register on yours, it's probably no one's ever gonna read it, so.
No, there's only one other town in 5 regions of DEC that I've had to fill out a waterfront assessment form. As
Is it-
part of the local waterfront revitalization.
Cape Vincent,
Clayton
Clayton.
requires that only once in a while do they require
Yeah.
that. So, and I looked in your local waterfront revitalization program and didn't find it, but your revision of your LWRP is not online that I could see.
Yeah, I had to like Google it today to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
Yeah, fill those out. It's the same information typically as
Yeah.
the federal police.
yeah. Okay, so, so we were kind of talking about the dock. I personally take your word for this is a great design and I think that's wonderful. Uh, Others may have a question about that, but the second part we need to, talk about as part of this is what you're showing us about what might be the steps and
That's an example of what the step would look like. Pretty further one, the notice there's going to be slowly. Obviously, the contractor just gave me,
so,
other steps that he's built.
so it's a metal structure with wooden steps
Yeah.
and painted. Okay,
Metal railing.
Yeah, everything to code obviously.
yeah, yeah.
Same colors.
That's up to.
Chris,
Roll call, Chris.
This is
Looks-
like here, just.
dark.
Yeah. Probably. Better.
Love pink. Or,
Yeah, we'll probably do that.
All I can think is Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah. And your photos showed the existing location of, or steps that are there now?
If that's what you want to call
Right.
Yeah, right.
them.
For a while, there was a rope, just a rope.
Yeah.
But anyway, is that the physical location it's likely to be used? Like approximately the same path?
Be close to that if we move the dock forward another 5
Yeah,
feet.
but generally traversing that slope like you've depicted, yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna have to traverse the slope of the landing and then go. This is a steep bank.
Yeah, I know.
Not gonna be
Yeah.
straight, but, yeah.
And is the wooden structure just gonna rest on the shelf rock?
Heel drill into the rock. To,
So with,
for the steel structure of the steps.
so there's no, well, is the dock wood or that you're building or aluminum?
The dock is,
Aluminum or,
it's all steel frame
right?
welded to the steel piling.
Okay, so then that comes right at this, like I'm just picturing the interface between your steps and your dock. There's no wooden landing like in this picture.
The deck of the dock, or the decking on the dock itself is concrete. So he has a waterproof, concrete deck and he's gonna pour a concrete deck there.
It has to be for the weight of it.
This is gonna be concrete instead of,
Yes, yeah, that's another dock there. That's just.
Okay.
Right.
so it's gonna be concrete. Okay.
So your steps will land there
Yes, they'll land onto the concrete.
and then the dock shoots out.
Yes,
And so you're above the high water level, so you don't have to
yes,
worry about that.
right, sure.
Great.
You know, and the only thing DEC would require is waterproof forms.
Okay, so any questions on any details? Let's first focus on the dock.
You said the dock itself is gonna be cement and not,
The decking.
the decking's gonna be cement and not wood.
Yes, yes,
And that's on, that decking is on a steel frame underneath.
yes, yes, everything is steel underneath.
How I read it.
Yeah.
When you're asking about are you pouring any concrete, I looked at that.
Oh.
But it's not going down into the pilings, it's just up top.
Right.
So don't spill it.
Concrete. Concrete slabs that you bring in, isn't it?
No,
Oh, you-
no, he can't.
You pour
I
it.
asked him that if it's gonna be precast. And no, he pours it in place.
Big long tube over the bank?
No, sugar barge, everything.
Oh, the barge.
Barge.
It's gonna be box.
They know that, they know that area.
Bill's doing it?
Yes.
Yeah. He did George's.
Okay, any discussion on the stairs? Fine to me.
Sure, the drawing is not really showing how many steps.
No,
are
I
going.
didn't know.
Not how many steps you're going down there.
No, I can't draw that to scale.
Oh, you'd have fun doing that.
Yeah,
So this dock is parallel to the,
it is.
yeah, I was wondering because the sample pictures show that straight out. So,
And that's, like I said, that's somebody else's dock.
Right.
Yeah, right.
It's parallel to the shore for several reasons. You can't get out of the shipping.
Yes.
Come out of the 8-point marina. And it gets beat very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And it allowed it to go along the shore when there's a steep shoreline, similar to, just what Chris has.
I think that makes a lot more sense to go that way.
Okay, do we need anything else for a complete application?
Move the complete application.
I second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any further questions?
So it's hurricane proof.
It's ice proof.
What is the O in OHW for the high water? What's the-
Ordinary.
Ordinary.
It's a synonymous term to mean high water level.
Okay.
I looked at that today and I was like,
Sorry. What DEC uses ordinary high water mark or high water.
And having an interest in docks, of course, what is, I guess, what is that, what's that reference plane? I'm just curious. I don't expect you to know it. I just.
Ordinary high water mark?
Yeah, like,
I know exactly what it is.
Oh.
And we're at it right now.
this right now is the.
Lake
ordinary high water?
Ontario is right now at 247.
Because I know it's high. We got a few docks underwater now.
247.3 is what DEC uses from 1985. Neogenic danger or whatever. That's considered the ordinary or mean high water level for Lake Ontario. So we're there. We haven't seen this level since 2023. May of 2023, we hit this level briefly. Right. Oh, yeah, the docks, he's gonna install that dock at about 280. Or 248.5. It's typically where all my contractors install docks.
Oh, not at 250.
Yeah, it's when the water drops down to 243 or 4,
Yeah.
like it was, like then you gotta climb up to get out of your dock, out of your boat.
And then what if-
45 seems to be.
what about those high water like 2017 and 19?
2019, we hit 249 briefly.
So just
And
2
you're what,
feet above that.
248.5, you
Yeah.
said?
248.5 is where he would typically install a
So
dock.
6 inches of water on top of the dock.
Back in 2019, yes.
So that's what would happen again.
Yep.
Okay, well, thanks for that info. All right, so what's the board's, I'm fine with stairs, design. I take your word for it.
It's
It's,
the whole gamut, right? Where this is the whole package.
Yes.
But you're still waiting,
Lifts.
still waiting for one.
right, but what we've done before, there's two letters we're waiting for from permitting agencies.
Right.
But our approval is independent of that. I mean, if we approve the design and the site plan, and if, I don't think they're gonna build right away, but let's say they had a contractor ready to go, and then it ended up not being approved by Army Corps, that's their problem.
We don't need to do pending.
No, I don't think so. We haven't in the past, just that. I mean, there could be circumstances we might be wary of that. I can't think of one right now, but generally, the paperwork's in. This is a very typical dock design. It's not commercial, going to affect anybody else but the Bradleys
I'll
probably.
move to approve the application.
Second.
Thank you, Dick and Merle. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Is it a later in the summer construction? Fall? Is that based on contractor and permitting?
Yeah, he's gonna have the painters down on Lake Ontario in the fall. He's doing a project with Henderson. So it'll give me a little more time to save up.
Water will be lower too, so it might be a little easier for some of that.
Well, thank you.
Well,
I didn't know about the site plan review. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. Not much to that form in relation to this, but for the record, it just should be there, you know? Okay. You know what, right there, a finalized subdivision special permit application and LWRP coastal policy. Those are all forms we're waiting to finalize. But that's it. I'd like to make the motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.